Well, there is an update today regarding the push to implement $10 a day childcare across the country. The province is now moving ahead with changes to the way it's implementing the funding deal with Ottawa. For all the details, let's bring in CP24's Jamie Goodfriend. Jamie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alina. And with more on this new funding formula and how it's going to impact these daycare operators, I want to bring in Education Minister Todd Smith. Minister, thank you so much for joining us. So let's get right into it. How is this going to help these operators and make sure that their doors stay open?
Well, it's going to provide the certainty. It's going to provide the stability that these operators are looking for. As a government, we've been delivering with a number of announcements, but today's announcement reduces childcare fees yet again. We're rolling out this new funding formula that's going to save another $300 million for families across Ontario next year. And it's been designed based on that input that's been so important, the extensive input from childcare providers. Prioritizes a simple and easy to administer system. And it's not just going to sustain the spaces that we have in the province today, but it's actually going to set them up to grow more spaces. And with the new funding formula, it's time now to focus on creating those new spaces with the federal government, and they're going to have to address the cap that they have on quality for-profit participation in the child care sector for many operators that have been turned away over the last number of months by municipalities because of that cap that's in place.
Well, furthermore to that, you, along with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, you sent a joint letter to the federal government addressing those concerns about the cap on for-profit spaces. You're asking the feds to lift it. What's been the response, and has there been any movement on that?
Yeah, I think this is a national child care signature program, right? So I think there is a willingness on behalf of the federal government to make sure that it succeeds. And certainly as the Ontario government, we want to make sure that more families are able to access the child care that they need. So, many, as I mentioned, for-profit operators, and these are mostly 96% of them are women-operated facilities that currently operate one or two daycares in a community that want to expand and create more spaces for kids in their community. So, for instance, in Peel region, it's being dubbed as a childcare or daycare desert because so many spaces have been turned away. In my area here in Eastern Ontario, over 100% of the applications have been turned away. And it's the same story in communities right across the province. With the funding formula that we announced today, the biggest savings are going to come in those high cost areas like the GTA, but also in northern areas as well and some rural areas. So we're providing that stability and certainty today. We need the feds to work with us to create the spaces that we need.
Minister, this just came out moments ago. The Association of Daycare Operators of Ontario, they did put out a release that, and part of it goes on to say that they're still dealing with a deeply flawed federal program that has left the majority of the families with children under 5 out in the cold. And to help reduce those wait lists, they're calling on the federal government to lift some of those restrictions on those new centers opening up, but to no avail. I'm wondering, obviously, it's not a perfect program, and there's still a lot of work to be done, but I want to get your reaction to that directly from these operators themselves.
Well, and this is what we've been hearing from the operators, and this is what we've been hearing from the municipalities, because it's those municipalities, the service managers across the province are the ones that are approving the various spaces or unable to approve the spaces that are being pitched by these daycare operators. So I know that there's a willingness to work with the federal government. They have reciprocated that willingness as well. We're looking forward to meeting with the minister next week to try and hammer out some of the challenges that those that are looking to get in to the $10 a day program are facing. And for those that are already in the program, we've provided that certainty that they were looking for today, making it much simpler for them to operate and plan for the new year come January 1st.
Education Minister Todd Smith, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, folks.
And Lena, the province goes on to say that this new funding formula will add up to a savings of nearly $300 million for families. Back to you.
All right, Jamie, thanks so much for that conversation.